Doyle Media. Bob Doyle Media. If you go and watch it, be sure to first go pedia. Bob Doyle Media. Bob Doyle Media. He talks about creative ways to use AI all day. Hey!
Welcome back to the channel where we discuss the creative uses of AI, and it was about 10 months ago when I first posted a video about Suno, the AI music generation giant, having some serious competition with a little something called Sonauto, which at the time was free, and I liked what I was seeing, and it got mixed reviews when I posted the video, but I always thought it was something to watch. And recently I've been getting email from actual real people asking me if I've checked it out recently, and I'm like, well, no, I haven't, but maybe I will, and I did. And you know what? It's pretty great, and it's still free. They've released version 2 of their model, and everything about it is way better, as is the interface. Way easier to understand and use. More like what you're used to with some of the other platforms. But what I really love about this platform right now, besides the fact that it's free and you can do unlimited generations, is that the output doesn't sound like Suno. Nothing against Suno. The version 4 model is great, and it does a good job of making it sound a little less Suno than it did before. I think you know what I'm talking about if you're an AI music enthusiast. It was very easy to go, oh, that's Suno, or even that's Udio. With this one, it's got kind of a mark of its own for the most part. And let me also say right up front, I am in no way saying that this thing is perfect. It's got lots of flaws. I'm going to share them with you too. And I'm not saying it's better than another one. There's no comparison here. I just want to show you what they've been up to. And since it's free, there's nothing to lose by going out there and playing around with it. Right? Right. So the front page is much like the front pages of all the other AI generation software out there. Right up at the top, you've got the quick ability to start creating a song, and you have your staff picks and other posts from the community. I'm going to show you basically how it works, and then I'm going to go through some examples that I've been working with the past few days to demonstrate particular things. Now here's the feature that I'm not even sure they want you to know about, but I think it's going to excite most people. Remember when we all started with these AI music generation platforms and we'd say, hey, do something like Frank Sinatra, do something like Queen, do something like, and at first they played along, and then they started to say, yeah, we can't, we're not gonna, well, we don't even know who you're talking about. Well, right now anyway, with Sonauto, they will listen to your references, and you will be mostly blown away by what you hear. I think. I don't know. I can't read your mind. So at its simplest, you can just come up here after clicking create and start your masterpiece and just say, like they say, a rock song about turtles flying. I won't say that. I'll say an indie lo-fi song about ramen from the grocery store not really being pasta. I won't click the fancy mode, which basically just means it's going to be better, but it'll take a little longer. I could, if I wanted, click custom style and then type in other things here. I have chosen to put the style request right up here in my create box, so I'm saying an indie lo-fi song up here, so I don't really even need to put that here. Changing the prompt strength, I put more emphasis on the prompt itself with the prompt strength slider, and we can choose to have the AI generate the lyrics, or we can type in our own lyrics, or we can say, I'd rather this be an instrumental. Again, I got samples of all of this. So we'll just say auto lyrics and we'll click on generate. Just to set the expectation, the generation here is not as fast as Suno, but you also don't have to go down to the store and get a cup of coffee. It just takes a little longer than you might be used to if you've gotten spoiled by the faster generation of some of the other platforms. Now, one of the complaints I have right off the bat is I have now submitted this for creation and I can't go ahead and just submit another one. In other words, if I wanted to change the prompt or tweak another one, I can't yet put another one in the queue. It has to first generate the first one, and then I'll have the ability to tweak the prompt or extend or InPaint and all those other things that we're used to. But if I just go back to make music, it shows you a list of all the projects I've done, and I'll explain projects as I go along. It's a concept it took a little bit of getting used to, but now some of the other platforms are doing it as well. And if I click through on that before it is generated, it just shows that it's still loading, and I can't process any other versions of the prompt until it's done. It's kind of necessary because of the project structure of the platform. At first I didn't understand why you would do it this way, but if I was to jump out and create a new prompt, it would create another project. And there's a benefit to having all the different versions of the song that you're working on in a project instead of having them scattered out over all the files. I just get impatient and I want to get right back in and start generating revisions because that's what I'm used to, having 3 or 4 going at once. Having said that, I could go back to one of my other projects, like the one that I used to open up this video with, and I can click on history and you can see everything from the first version of it that I did down here and then up here when I did another version of it. So now we've got our first 2 versions of our indie lo-fi song about ramen from the grocery store not really being pasta. So let's just listen to what it came up with, version 1.
store-bought ramen in a plastic cup. You're just pretending to be growing up. 3-minute noodles aren't what they seem. Not quite pasta, more a sodium dream.
So at this point, let me just point out again, number one, I hope you have headphones on because everything is very clear. It doesn't have that heavily compressed audio sound that earlier versions of all these models had. This is just as crisp and clean, I feel, as any of the best out there. And this, of course, is just completely subjective, but I have this thing, if you watch my videos, about AI-generated lyrics and how they're eye-rollingly bad sometimes just to make a rhyme. It's not always perfect here, but overall, I'm liking the lyrics that spit out of this way better than the stuff that I get in the other platforms. I have to do far less tweaking, something here and there, and it's a lot easier. Again, that's totally subjective. You may completely disagree. I have also found that when they generate these two versions, one or the other may be markedly better than the other. Let's see what this other one did, because that one really wasn't lo-fi at all. It didn't really have that groove that I'm looking for, so let's see what this one did. I think that's even worse. So that's what I'm saying. It's not always hit it out of the park right away, but let's just modify the prompt a little bit. What I'll do instead is I will use the custom style drop-down. I'll do a search and see if they have lo-fi. They do. They have lo-fi in various ways. So I'll do like late night lo-fi, right? That's great. And really, I won't load it up with a bunch of other things because I think that will confuse the issue. And I'm going to click on fancy mode. That is what I generally use all the time because, as I mentioned, it is their experimental high quality mode. You'll generate longer times, but you'll get higher quality outputs, and I've definitely found that to be the case most of the time. Again, everything related to music and songs is all subjective. My opinion, we welcome yours. Let's generate this. And now while that's generating, you'll see I can click new prompt. I can do again and again and again, and now I can load up the queue once that first song in the project is generated. You have the ability to extend and edit like you're used to in some of these other platforms. You can extend the song before it starts here. You can extend it after. With the manual extend, you can even say how long you want it to extend. Also, with every generation, you can generate stems, which is a common thing that people want. Here's the track we're separating.
Instant gratification in a tub. 3 minutes till my noodles are all done.
That's not lo-fi at all. But anyway, so here's the drum track. We got our bass. Other. Vocal.
Instant gratification in a tub.
And here's the track with no vocals. So yeah, I know what you're thinking. It sounds like all the other stem separation out there because the nature of what we're doing here is we're taking an already recorded song that's all blended out and we're doing that traditional AI stem separation. The stems were not produced individually and then thrown together like that. That's what everybody wants, and that's why no one's satisfied with stem separation, and I get it. But that's pretty much all the platforms. If you disagree, please let me know in the comments. With InPainting, you can go in and change specific parts of your song that you don't like. So in their automatic mode, if you select, for example, this verse and you just didn't like it at all, you would select that, confirm selection, and then when you regenerate, the AI will come up with a different verse for you. If you select manual mode, then you can go in and make the changes yourself and then regenerate the selection and it will have your lyrics in it. But I really want to show you this in action with an emphasis on how you can reference actual bands and musicians and get results that will blow you away, probably. So this will be kind of a musical show and tell where I share with you the various tests I did with the platform and we'll see what you think. So we'll click in the bottom, and this particular track has a history because you'll see up at the top we have InPainting, so I would have had to generate something first in order to InPaint. And so the prompt was song about cats who never sleep. I didn't put a style, I didn't do anything, I just said a song about cats who never sleep. So let's just listen to a couple of versions that it came up with.
Running wild at 3 a.m. Bouncing off the walls again. Chase the shadows round and round, making such a crazy sound. Mew, mew, mew all night. Mew all night.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. Let's listen to the second one.
Running wild up the slide. Running wild at 3 a.m. Bouncing off the walls again. Chase the shadows round and round, making such a crazy sound.
Okay, so you'll notice that at the beginning it just freaking starts, and so that's when you would use the extend to put an intro in there. And the lyrics were a little wonky at the beginning there. It said something, and then it eventually started with the lyrics that were there, but it kind of hallucinated some things. And here I use the InPainting just to change the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Running wild at 4 a.m.
So that's how that works. By the way, the AI titles it, if you don't title it yourself, Midnight Mischief. Just another spin on the cats thing. A song about cats never sleeping. And in my way that seems to annoy some people, I'm choosing a sort of a different style to test these things with. So we're going to start with Barbershop.
Oh, my little cat won't go to sleep. Won't go to sleep. Running round the house and making leaps. 3 a.m. and still upon her feet. What's a weary owner got to do to get some peace?
Let's check out the other one.
Oh, my little cat won't go to sleep. Running round the house and making leaps. 3 a.m. and still upon her feet. What's a weary owner got to do to get some peace?
Pretty nice. If you're a barbershop geek, you'll appreciate this, I guess. Here's the first time I tried to reference an actual rock group. So now, while I don't want you to expect Bohemian Rhapsody, the prompt I gave it was a song in the style of Queen about buying bananas when they're green. I didn't actually mean to rhyme, so let's just listen to the first take here.
Buy them while they're green. The ripest ones I've ever seen. Just a matter of days until they're perfect for me. Patience is the key. Wait for it. Just a few more days. Wait for it.
All right, let's listen to the second one.
Buy them while they're green. While they're green. The ripest ones I've ever seen.
So I would say right off the bat that these kind of missed the mark a little bit. So, however, let's play with the prompt, and I'm going to say Freddie Mercury. I'm going to put us in fancy mode. I'll pop up the lyric and style strength just for fun and click generate, and let's see what we get. So again, it's a little disconcerting to not be able to check the progress of that generation. Like it's not under here saying, okay, we're generating it. I can't go back here and see it. If I click on make music and I click back into the project, it's still just sort of sitting there. Now I do have this little indicator that says starting, but it could just be a little bit more clear just so I make sure that, hey, did it in fact generate? Because I've made the mistake of generating several times thinking, oh, it didn't take. So that's just a little bit of a usability issue. And it just kind of requires me jumping back and forth to check the status. But I actually do like that it keeps everything in this project folder and doesn't confuse things by putting that most recent version up at the top, and then I have to try and keep them all together. So now that it is in fact done, let's listen to what we've got.
Wait for them to ripen, don't you dare take them now. Patient cultivation, that's what life's about. Wait for it, just you wait and see. At the market early, fighting temptation's call.
Okay, I think you'll agree that we did much better that time. Let's listen to this one.
Wait for them to ripen. Don't you dare take them now. Patient cultivation. That's what life's about.
So I think that's further from the Queen style that the first one had, but if you look to see what happened up here, it took that prompt that we typed in and filled in all of these styles. So hard rock, glam rock, 1970s art rock, Queen, arena rock, and progressive rock. So I think if we wanted to work on this again and click on new prompt, we could click on custom style and get rid of some of these that seem to be taking it away from the style that we're looking for. The point is we got that flexibility, and you gotta admit that sounded pretty good, that first one. All right, this next one is Laboratory Love. Go down in our history and we'll find the original prompt was a song about being blinded by science. in the style of Thomas Dolby. So, the first version.
Flows and formulas glow. Chemistry sets my heart aglow. Test tubes bubble, readings double. Scientific love is all I know. Calculating, oscillating, calculating. Microscopes and laser beams.
So there's definitely some Thomas Dolby in there. Let's listen to this one.
Flows and formulas glow. Chemistry sets my heart aglow. Test tubes bubble, readings double. Scientific love is all I know.
Any Dolby fans out there at all?
Calculating, oscillating, calculating. Microscopes and laser beams.
That's good stuff. I don't care what you say, unless you say it's good stuff too, in which case I say, yeah. Please keep in mind my age as we go through this. I'll be turning 60 this year. So that's why when I make references to Suzanne Vega, I was a young man in the 90s. I was going through my stuff. Her emotional style appealed to me. I had a group of friends. We were all in it together. You know what I mean? So a female solo singer-songwriter ballad about a queen and a soldier getting ice cream together. Solo guitar in the style of Suzanne Vega. If you don't know who Suzanne Vega is, go listen to something and then come back.
On a Wednesday afternoon in June, her crown glinting in the heat, a young guard and the queen share vanilla and sweet cream.
Darn right, it sounds just like her. All right, there's a little musical interlude there. Let's look ahead.
They walk down cobblestone, such unlikely company.
Okay, nice. Listen to version 2.
On a Wednesday afternoon in June, her crown glinting in the heat, a young guard and the queen share vanilla and sweet cream.
Musical interlude. More of a musical interlude. This is a little off style for her right here. She must have a special musical guest from somewhere else. But then we get back to it.
Protocol forgotten for a while as they walk down cobblestone.
I don't know what that word-
Such unlikely company, breaking rules so quietly. Summer day.
Okay, so, wow. As long as we're waxing nostalgic, back in the 80s, I was a big fan of the Windham Hill New Age music stuff, and Liz Story was my favorite piano player. And so I asked for an upbeat solo piano instrumental in the style of Liz Story called Trailblazer that tells the musical story of a horse that goes out on its own in the face of terrible odds. This was the first version, which I'm going to spoiler alert, didn't hit it. First of all, I wanted something more like, you know, a horse is going out and blazing a trail. But second of all, that's really not her style. However, now again, I'm not necessarily visualizing a horse stampeding through a meadow or anything, but this is much closer to her style. Sometimes they're near misses. So is that a miss that was near, or did you nearly miss, but hit it? We're taking your calls. Okay, who knows Ertha Kitt? Ertha Kitt, 1, 2, 4 old people like me. All right, jazz quintet, female soloist in the style of Ertha Kitt, singing a song about Pop-Tarts and their various flavors.
Sugar, frosted morning delight, strawberry, blueberry, what a sight. Fresh from the toaster, just right. My breakfast, romance, day and night. Brown and sugar, cinnamon dreams.
I can taste them now.
S'mores and chocolate supreme.
I just saw those in the grocery store yesterday.
Cherry filled with sweet cream.
Let's listen to the second version.
Sugar frosted morning delight. Strawberry, blueberry, what a sight. Fresh from the toaster, just right. My breakfast romance day and night.
All right, so for the progressive rock fans, I start with an ELO reference. You know, Electric Light Orchestra. Anyone? A rock opera in the style of Electric Light Orchestra about habitually leaving cabinet doors open and then making excuses for it, mostly blaming attention deficit disorder. Here we go.
All these doors left open wide. Can't keep track of heaven knows I tried. My attention wanders far and wide. Got too many thoughts inside. Now the loud doors wide open.
Let's check out version 2.
All these doors left open wide. Can't keep track though, heaven knows I tried. My attention wanders far and wide. Got too many thoughts inside. La la la, doors wide open.
If you're my age and you like music, you gotta be a little bit excited about this, right? So another progressive rock group that I'm a bit of a fan of is Yes. It's the exact same prompt. I just changed it to Yes.
Doors of perception left ajar, crystalline hinges near and far, wooden portals to nowhere, consciousness scattered everywhere.
Version 2.
Doors of perception left ajar, swinging in the crystalline hinges near and far, do as they please. Wooden portals to nowhere, set them all consciousness scattered everywhere. That's just how I'll be through the labyrinth of my mind.
If you're not a Yes fan, you don't know why I got excited about that. But they have captured the essence. I have no idea how they're doing this. Now, I also love a good soundtrack. You know, a score for like a motion pictures. This one went through many iterations if you scroll up through my history here. It started with basically a prompt, a trippy instrumental ambient journey through the galaxy while having a spiritual experience brought in, meant to say on, by a microdose gone wrong. So here's one example. And here's another. Now, the thing is, when you listen to things like this, maybe you can see something in your head. How do you judge whether the soundtrack's good or not? So I figure, well, let's just throw together some video to put behind this thing and let it act like a soundtrack. Here's one I'd call a miss, and I had such high hopes too, because you know, you get results like those others and you think, well, I gotta throw some Beatles in here. So I said, a song in the style of the Beatles with George Martin, trying to be very specific, about walking through a field of strawberries for a really long time. And on top of that, I did add some other style tags: experimental, weird, and late 1960s. And this is what we got. They definitely have this
Walking through the crimson fields all day, floating past the ruby waves that sway. Time dissolves like sugar.
Probably putting George Martin in there screwed it up, because who's that guy singing? All right, here's the second one.
Walking through the crimson fields all day, floating past the ruby waves that sway.
Time period appropriate, but not really the Beatles, right? So what if I said new prompt and said in the style of the Beatles with Paul McCartney and John Lennon. I'm even going to say Magical Mystery Tour. I'm just bold, baby, bold. And I'm going to go to fancy mode and click generate. So this is another situation where I'm waiting for this second generation and I have no way to track its progress. I really hope they do something about that. But you know what? If they wrote back and said, dude, it's free, what do you want? I'd say, you got me. Here is our first result with the revised prompt.
Walking in the strawberry meadows all day, sweet red patches lead my merry way. Follow where the sunny paths may stray. La 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 la. La 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 la. Butterflies are dancing through the breeze, rainbow colors floating past the trees.
Let's listen to version 2.
Walking in the strawberry meadows all day, sweet red patches lead my merry way. Follow where the sunny paths may stray. La 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 la. La 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 la. Butterflies are dancing through the breeze, rainbow colors floating past the trees. Summer sunshine warming up my face, nature's rhythm sets a gentle pace. Round and round the garden path I go, where it ends nobody needs to know.
Okay, so much closer. If they had kept writing music in that era, they might have come up with that. But it speaks to the power of a specific prompt, doesn't it? Now, I opened up this entire video with this one here, where I actually wrote the lyrics myself. Bob Doyle Media, Bob Doyle Media. If you go watch it, be sure to first go pedia. Now, I knew in my mind that I was going to be feeding in that They Might Be Giant style, so I was very simplistic with my lyrics because I was just imitating their kind of style, and I knew somehow they would pull it together, which they did, and you heard that at the beginning. But I was so taken with that style that I did one more song in that style, and the prompt was an upbeat song in the style of They Might Be Giants about jumping up and down on the driveway with cats, featuring accordion.
Jumping with the cats on my driveway, tabby cats and calicos all day. Up and down we bounce without a care, while the neighbors stop and start to stare. La 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 la, meow 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 meow. La la.
So I can't imagine that you completely disagree with me that this platform has come a long way. And with regards to referencing existing bands, I mean, come on. And that the output actually has a unique sound in terms of AI, in my opinion. And it's 100% free right now. It's been free for at least 10 months, so get over there and play with it. Unless you're just a music hater. If these are the types of things you like to learn about, why not subscribe to the channel? Because these are the topics we cover all the time.
If you subscribe now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you do not, I will look for you. I will find you. And I